All right, I am going to challenge this dog with a feed. I'm throwing it to him. On your mark, camera. Here we go. Set, go.
Stop! Don't do it. Don't give your dog the food. I know some of you are thinking about giving your dog a whole pizza or a whole steak. Let's talk for a second before you do what you're thinking about doing. And I know that dog is staring at you thinking they're gonna get it any moment. You're gonna have to tell that pup, hold on a second. Let's dive in here. I wanna talk to you about my philosophy on feeding your dog human food because many of you are doing it, and I don't even wanna tell you that it's wrong, but many of you are doing it the wrong way. So let's get into the details about when and if and how you should be feeding your dog human food. We're not talking dog food, we're talking human food, like the stuff you and I eat. Now, if you're considering feeding your dog the whole pizza, just don't do that, okay? We already know that that's a bad idea because we know how we would feel as a 100+ pound human eating an entire pizza ourselves. And if we did that to our dog, who's maybe 60, 75 pounds, imagine what they will feel like afterwards. So I know that you might feel guilty that your dog's not getting to enjoy all the delicacies of life that you may get to enjoy, but the reality is that dogs really get their enjoyment from their food through the smell and texture of it. And so them eating pizza and hamburgers with you may not actually be necessary for them to fully enjoy the food that they're eating. So that being said, I want to talk to you first about when, if you're going to feed your dog human food, you should. My philosophy is that we should not give our dogs any human food to start. And the reason why is we do not want to create the expectation from your dog that when you are eating, that it is time for them to eat as well. I like my dogs to understand that these are separate eating times. I eat and they eat. And if whenever I'm eating, I decide to offer my dog some food, I am training my dog by default that every time that I'm eating something, that they should probably come and ask for some and that I will provide it to them. So my belief is that we need to teach our dogs that it's never okay to beg for food. It's never okay to ask for human food. And every once in a blue moon, if you want to have a cheat and you want to give your dog a little something, there is a way to do that. So I usually start off by only offering my dog human food at a time that's separate from when I'm eating and separate from the areas in which I eat. So I don't do this in the kitchen. I don't do this in the family area where we eat. I might do this outside. I might do this in the yard. I might offer my dog food out of context. It might be that they're getting something when I go to Starbucks or somewhere that's just out of my normal feeding routine area. And by doing this, we are not teaching our dog to follow our schedule and ask us for food each time we eat. The one thing that I would tell you is that most of the things that we like to eat, your dog will also want to have as well. Some of these things can end up being very toxic for your dog. And so if you're not really clear, we're going to talk about some of those things later on in the video of what you can expect to feed your dog safely and what you need to be cautious of or not feed your dog at all. The last thing that I want to share with you before we get into that is that when we're using food with our dogs, we are using something with them that has an extremely high value to it. Food is something that we really want to remain in control with because when we don't, that is where the dog starts to really take advantage of us. They start pushing us to have food for every single thing that they do in life, and we want to make sure that we're not going down that rabbit hole. So let's talk about the things. Things that we do want to feed our dog are things that are healthy and nutritious for us in most cases. There's a lot of fruits and a lot of vegetables that fit the bill for this. So blueberries, apples, bananas, things like that are certainly healthy for your dogs. Vegetables, carrots, green beans are very common as well. A lot of us feed peanut butter to our dogs, whether we're using a Kong or whether we're just giving them a snack. It's important to make sure that if you are using peanut butter, that it's made with real sugar. Some of those peanut butters are actually toxic to dog if they've got an artificial sweetener in them. And then of course, a lot of the meat that we can also feed our pets as well. So chicken, beef, things of that nature. Just really need to pay attention to the seasonings that the dog is getting with that, because there may be seasonings that are not good for them. Really salty foods, you know, pizza obviously would be one of the things, lots of salt in that. And if we are going to give our dog dairy, it should be in a very small amount, because there's a lot of dogs that end up having lactose intolerances. So things like cheeses can actually not be great for our dogs, even though they may really, really enjoy them. The things that you really want to make sure you stay away from are nuts, chocolates, alcohol. I know it's crazy I'm saying alcohol, but I know some of you give your dog beer on Sunday when you're watching football. Probably best not to do that. We already kind of mentioned dairy, but also mushrooms. The skin of potatoes also can be toxic for dogs. So these are all things for you to keep in mind as you're offering your dog food. And so I want you to start taking into consideration that if your dog is begging you for food, that you should probably stop feeding your dog from your hand for a little while. Start teaching them some more productive things to do during that time, teaching them to go lay down and sit at your side or on the floor somewhere. And this way, we break that habit, and down the road, once they have really learned to not beg, we can start to introduce some foods back if we so choose to. So that's it for you. If you want to get really clear on which foods are good and which ones are not for your dog, I would check out the ASPCA website and take a look at the list that they have there for safe and unsafe foods for your dog to eat. Have a great day.